In basketball, we've seen a lot of great teams on the high school and AAU level, and a lot of these teams either had 2 or 3 really great players. But the team we're going to be talking about today was a powerhouse in middle school basketball and was legitimately a super team. Occasionally, we see scenarios where a top player from one high school joins another top player from a different high school. And this creates a good team, but we really don't see a scenario where there's 3 to 4 or even 5 top players on one team. However, with that being said, in 2018, there was a middle school team who had 5 to 7 dominant players. And this is one of the best middle school teams, if not the best middle school team of all time. So who was all on this team and just how good were they? Let's dive into it. The 2018 North Coast Blue Chips. This was the legendary team. And the crazy part about this team was that we really wasn't appreciating their greatness when they was all playing together. And I can understand why, because they were all just in middle school, so there's no reason to really hype them up because they could just fizzle out. But that has not been the case, and if anything, all the players on this team have gotten better. Anytime we as people witness greatness in the present, we really don't appreciate it enough and we don't think too much about it. That doesn't just go for this middle school team, that goes for every sport team. Sometimes we just get way too caught up in the present and the moment to even sit back and think to ourselves, dang, we might be witnessing history. And looking back at this team, I can definitely say we did not appreciate them enough. And I understand they're just in middle school, but we still should have been giving them way more recognition. So with all that being said, let's dive into this historically great roster. Before I tell you guys the roster, I'm just going to make this clear. I'm not covering every single player because this video would be way too long. We're just going to be covering all the main players, so it's either going to be roughly 7 to 9 players. For the blue chips on the roster, we had no other than Bronny James Jr., Khoi Thurman, Rodney Gallagher, Gabe Cupps, Jahzare Jackson, Grayson Story, Mike Davis, Ty Long, and oh yeah, you can't forget Mikey Williams. That is one insane of a roster. Now obviously you're not going to know every player I named off on that roster, but I know you at least know 4 of those guys. And the big 4 I'm talking about is Gabe Cupps, Bronny James, Mikey Williams, and Jahzare Jackson. Just having those 4 guys on your team is way more than enough, but the talent did not stop there. These other 2 players I'm about to say were just as talented as the other guys. And these 2 guys are known as RayVaughn Griffith and Khoi Thurman. So this team didn't just have 4 great players, they had 6 great players. And they really didn't even need the other 2 guys. Just having the quote unquote big 4 was way more than enough. I mean, let's just look at it. You had Bronny James, who is a perfect point guard who loves to get his teammates involved, and in the corner you have Gabe Cupps spotting up ready to knock down any shot. But then also you have Mikey Williams on the wing who could literally dunk at the time and do whatever he wanted. And then let's say you missed the shot. Well, that doesn't matter because you have a 7-footer down in the post. And at the time, Jahzare was way bigger than all of the other competition. So when you hear that, you think that's enough, but then you also have to add along 2 other great players. I mean, just imagine you wake up on a Saturday morning, it's 10 a.m., it's your first AAU game, and you gotta go up against these guys. What do you even think about? I'm sorry, it's just funny. I guess you're either thinking about your post-game meal or who you play next, because there's no way you're thinking you're about to beat these guys. It's just funny for me to even think, because I played AAU, and if I walked in against these guys and I was in middle school, I don't know what I would be thinking. Just looking at Jahzare warm up is scary enough, but then you got Mikey Williams who thinks he's NBA YoungBoy, and then you got LeBron James in the stands watching his son. I mean, that's just a deadly team, man. Alright, now let's get serious. So that is the basic rundown of the team. So just how good are these players? First thing is first, let's start off with the easy and simple one, Bronny James. Bronny was a very great player in middle school. He could shoot, pass, and dribble and had a very high basketball IQ just like his father. And ever since his middle school days, he's only kept that tradition going and he keeps improving. And right now, he's currently a 4-star recruit and ranked the 24th best player in the country. And he's listed at 6'2" and 175 pounds, but I can assure you he's definitely going to grow some more. And just like his middle school days, Bronny's playing at a powerhouse of a high school. And Bronny's going to be a sophomore next year, but he's actually expected to start, so he might put up a great season. And we all know how good Bronny is and how good he's going to be, so let's dive into player number 2. Our second player we're going to talk about is Gabe Cupps. Now Gabe is what I would like to call the definition of a sharpshooter. When he was playing in middle school, if you left him open, you might as well get ready for your offensive possession because it was going in. There was not going to be a rebound possible. But not only could he shoot, he also had pretty good handles. And he actually blew up on YouTube for challenging LeBron to a shooting contest, and it was just a great thing to see. And as of today, he's listed at 5'11" and weighing roughly 145 pounds. But don't let his size fool you. This kid can absolutely ball and plays much stronger than his strength. And as a freshman in this recent year, he actually played for his varsity team. And with just being a 9th grader, he averaged 11.2 points per game. That's really impressive. And he was doing it at a very efficient rate. He shot 40% from the field and 38% behind the 3-point line. 38% is really good for a 9th grader playing on varsity. I told you guys this kid can shoot. He also shot 77% from the free throw line, which is really good as well. And I really just think he's going to get better and better as he continues to grow, so watch out for Gabe Cups. Now let's get into player number 3, and I feel like this is a guy that none of you really know about, and his name is RayVaughn Griffith. Griffith was an absolute beast for the Blue Chips. He could attack the basket and score when he wanted to. And he was actually pretty big for his age, and he was a great defender. And a lot of people at the time thought he was actually better than Bronny James and even better than Mikey Williams. Now let's flash forward to our current time. Griffith is now coming in at 6'4" and weighing 180 pounds. But not only that, he's a 5-star recruit and ranked the 22nd best overall player in the country. He's ranked right above Bronny James and he has that 5-star ranking, so that's really impressive. And he was really overshadowed a lot on his middle school team because look who he was playing with. Everybody was focused on Mikey Williams or Bronny James. He's kind of the forgotten star in the group. And a little side note to throw in there, he was actually offered a college scholarship before he even entered high school. So yes, as an 8th grader, he got offered a scholarship. And as a freshman playing for varsity like all of our other players, he averaged 16.6 points per game. And he also pitched in 7.7 rebounds and 2.3 assists. And we don't stop there. He was also named to the Max Preps Freshman All-American First Team. Those numbers and his achievements speak for himself. This kid can absolutely ball. So with that being said, let's head into our 4th player known as Jahzare Jackson. Where do we even start with this kid? He was literally a man amongst boys out there. For the Blue Chips, he dominated in the post and he had very good touch around the rim. He was also really good at snagging rebounds and putting them right back up and getting those easy 2 points. In middle school, he was listed at roughly 6'8" or 6'9", but flash forward in time, he's now listed as a legit 7-footer. So as a freshman playing for IMG Academy, he was literally 7 foot and 300 pounds. You hear people say the phrase brick wall a lot, but this guy literally is a brick wall. I've also seen and heard a lot of rumors that they're trying to get him to play football as well, but I think he should stick to basketball. One thing I really took notice in on this guy when watching the film was that he has very good hand-eye coordination for a big man. He's not just one of those big men that can only shoot around the goal. He actually has a pretty decent skill set and he can even shoot a little. And believe it or not, he actually has pretty decent handles. I'm not saying they're the best, but they're definitely better than the normal big man handles. So with all that being said, just watch out for Jahzare Jackson because he's definitely going to be a force to reckon with. Our 5th and second to last player is another guy that you probably have never heard of, and he goes by no other than Khoi Thurman. Now this guy was more of a mix between Griffith and Bronny James. He could score the ball a lot, but he also passed the ball a lot as well. And out of all the guys in this group, he was one of the best athletes and he just had a lot of natural talent. He started some games for the Blue Chips, but he was also a really good role player when he came off the bench because he produced right away. Flash forward in time, he's now standing at 6 foot and weighing 175 pounds. And he wound up playing his high school basketball at Copley High School and he had a lot of great games for his team in this recent year. He had multiple 20-point games and even had one game with 26 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 steals. Once again, he's a freshman just like our other players, so that's really good. And on June 22nd, which was 2 weeks ago, he got an offer from Illinois. And Illinois is a big-time D1 program, so that is a great look and great offer. And I'm just here to tell you that's only going to be the start because as he gets older, the offers are just going to pour in. Thurman's a player you definitely need to pay attention to because he might just pop off and be the next big thing one day. So with that being said, let's head into our last and final player. Now coming in as our 6th player on this magnificent middle school basketball team, we have no other than Mikey Williams. I mean, does this guy really need an introduction? He's an absolute beast. For the Blue Chips, Mikey was one of the best players and he got a lot of recognition right away. And I know everyone watching this video knows Mikey Williams is a great athlete, but in middle school he was even a good athlete. He didn't just start dunking in this recent year at his high school. He's actually been dunking since middle school and he was dunking a lot when he was on the Blue Chips. All in all, Mikey was just an overall great player at the middle school level. He could shoot, dribble, and he was just a freak of an athlete. So flash forward in time to today, he is currently ranked the 3rd best player in the country. So yeah, I guess you could say he's lived up to the hype so far. And he's ranked the 3rd best player for very good reason, because listen to these stats. As a freshman on varsity, keep in mind, a freshman, he averaged 29.9 points per game. Look, you can hate on this kid all you want, but you gotta give credit where credit is due. Those are outstanding numbers. He also pitched in 4.9 assists and almost 7 rebounds per game as well. So like I said, he has an overall great game. And oh yeah, we can't forget to mention he's now listed at 6'3", so he's only gotten bigger and stronger. And it's really hard for me to believe he was just a freshman last year. It's just absolutely crazy what he was doing. And out of this 6-man group, I guess you could say Mikey Williams is doing the best so far, but they're actually all doing really good. Mikey Williams, Bronny James, RayVaughn Griffith, and Khoi Thurman all have major D1 offers. And these 4 guys were on a middle school team at one point. That is insane to even think about. Currently, as of now, Gabe and Jahzare Jackson do not have any major D1 offers, but I can almost guarantee you they're going to get some looks as they get older and better. All of these players were freshmen last year, and for 4 of them to already have D1 offers, I just can't put into words how crazy that is. And I know some of you may be wondering, yo Matt, did these guys win the championship? And the answer to that is yes, they did win the national championship. Everywhere this team went during the season, it was like a movie. All you saw was cameras everywhere and fans. And a movie is nothing without its actors, and let me just tell you, these kids put on a show every game. Looking back on it, there's only one thing to say, we just really need to appreciate greatness. This middle school basketball team literally had 5 to 7 prodigies in the making, and we didn't even know it. Or maybe some people did know it, we just didn't realize it and appreciate it enough. Regardless of that, we gotta give all these kids credit because they've lived up to the hype and probably have even surpassed it. We've seen a lot of great middle school teams and high school teams over the years, but I think this is the best middle school team by far. But hey man, with all this being said, that's about gonna wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you guys learned something. If you are new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family and hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.